Alright, in this video I'm going to go ahead and create a little animation of a camera just revolving around this guitar. We'll often call it a turntable. Let's get underway. I'm going to go to Curves, create the path that I would like the camera to follow, which is going to be a NURBS circle in this case. I'll click it, it'll create one at the center of my grid. I'm going to scale that up to the size that I'd like so that I can set my camera body on that path. I'll zoom out a little bit to see where it's at. And maybe that's a little bit too far away. I'll bring that in just a touch. Okay. I can always adjust basically the apparent distance from the camera by changing the field of view or the focal length of my camera later on. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Now that I've got my camera path in position, I'm going to go create a camera. Rendering, choose my camera, and that'll create one at the center of the world. And once I have my camera, I'm just going to say, well, normally we could go and attach this camera to this path and have it animate around, but we wouldn't easily have control over how we can rotate that camera. So in this case, I'm going to use a camera aim. To access that, I'm going to, with my camera selected, press Control A, go over to Controls, change it to Camera, Camera and Aim. Now you can see that it's converted the camera into a camera group, and this one has the camera as well as an aim. Now, I would like to be able to have my camera go around this path, and it's already having its rotation being driven by this aim, right? Wherever we move the aim, the camera will rotate to look at. And so we can't easily just put this camera onto this path. So what I'm going to do is or isolate this camera by pressing Control G. And this is going to be the camera body. And now that I've got the camera body isolated with its own separate rotation available, I can select that, hold Shift, select the path that I'd like to follow, go up to my animation menu set, go to Constrain, Motion Paths, Attach to Motion Path. Right. Now my camera body has been attached to the motion path, and you can see that as we scrub through the timeline, it's going along and whipping all the way around. And we also have this cool little nifty aim, so we can go and animate that separately. So if you wanted, in this case, maybe I'll start the animation looking up at the headstock, and just to hide a bit of what's around the back or not around the back on this guitar body. Shh, our little secret. And then we can go ahead and just, with this camera aim selected, I'm going to press S on the keyboard to set a keyframe for it. And I'd like my animation to be a little longer than 120 frames, so I'm going to stretch this out to 200. All right, and I'll say, maybe by frame 100, I'd like to have the focus down here on the camera body. So I'll set that like so. Now, I've animated the target aim, or how I want, but the rest of the camera is finishing all its animation by frame 120, doing a full revolution. So I'm going to change that by selecting the camera body, going up to Windows, Animation Editors, and Graph Editor. So here I can see the properties for the camera body that have been animated, and it's all this motion path along the U value. So I'm just going to select the last keyframe by drawing a marquee over it and change that from 120 to frame 200, so that now instead of running between frame 0 and frame 120, we have an extra 80 frames of animation. And you can see it takes longer to get around. All right, let's see how that's looking. I'm going to go to Panels, Perspective, Camera 1, starting off at the headstock, trying to avoid some of that unmodeled section. There we go. And then we get to see our object for the remainder of it. And the gimmick's up again. All right, hope that helps. And I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.